Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another English class here on verbling.com. My name is Lisa, and in this hour we're going to be having a reading class. We're going to be reading an article that I got from the Business Insider magazine. I think, yeah, that's the one. Pretty interesting, talking about the luxury brand called Louis Vuitton and what's happening in China with the newfound wealth that the Chinese people have been experiencing. So we're going to read this article together and discuss some of the vocabulary and the expressions that are used and see whether or not this is happening in other parts of the world. So if you want to join, go ahead and click on the Join Class button and you can come in here with me and Mustafa. Mustafa, you're having a night of English, huh?
Yeah, a day of English actually.
A day of English. Wow, all day. Okay. Awesome. That's great. You mentioned in the last class that you did some sports. What kind of sport do you like?
Heavyweight.
Oh, okay. Going to the gym then, huh?
Yeah. But you know what? Like, my muscle, some of them is sore.
Oh, yeah, I bet. How often do you go to the gym?
Daily.
Daily. Oh, okay. Do you do like a different routine each time or a same routine or what?
Yeah. There is like 2 days. Each days have a specific training there, and
Okay. Hmm.
about daily. Sometimes I take like a break one day, two
Okay.
days break one day, 2 days break one day because I don't want to.
Need to
Uh,
rest, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we would say you don't want to overdo it.
Overdo it.
Overdo it, yeah.
Especially I am like a beginner. Like I used to go to gym, but it was for a while, a long time ago.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I joined recently. I began
Mm-hmm.
start again to join gym, so I
Mm.
have to begin like with the small steps.
Baby steps, yeah, good.
Yeah, baby
You
steps, baby steps.
did- Good. Okay, guys, well, come on in, everybody, and welcome. Hi, Miriam. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine.
Great. Wonderful. Nice to have you in class again. And Elo.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a little bit of a cold, but it's okay. Not
Oh,
too bad.
me too.
You too?
Yeah,
Okay. Elo, where are you calling from?
from Washington, Seattle.
Really? I am in
Yeah.
Port Townsend, Washington. I'm 2 hours away from you.
Wow, great.
What are you doing in Seattle?
Study English.
Uh-huh. Cool. And where are you from originally?
Dubai.
Dubai. Oh, okay. Wow. Big difference then.
Yeah,
Very green here in
right.
Washington. Okay. Let me see. Elena, how are you?
Hello, Lisa. I'm fine,
Hi.
and you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, as long as my nose doesn't start running.
Ah,
Yeah. Elena, let's see. Where are you calling from?
from
Oh,
Russia.
from Moscow? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How's the weather there?
No, that's pretty warm. It's about maybe 0 or maybe +1, +2.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Not too bad. Awesome. Okay. And Diana, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Yeah. And Ampara, you're back. Good. Welcome back. And
Okay.
Hamit's showing up. Okay. Hi, Hamit.
Hello.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We have this article that I think I saw it on Facebook. Somebody shared it or something, and it's pretty interesting. Definitely kind of a sign of the times, we could say, if people have been following of the economy, I guess, in China and the big changes that have happened over the past years. Uh, Here's the article that I got from businessinsider.com. It's in the life section. I just like to show you guys where I get the articles because this might be an article that you like, and then if you do, it might be a good place for you to go find more articles like this or other related type of articles for practicing your English and also for personal interest. So this one is called Louis Vuitton, is now a brand for secretaries in China. So that's a pretty a big statement there because does anybody know Louis Vuitton, the brand? Are you familiar with that brand? Anybody? Yeah, yes. And what do you...
I believe that all women here know it.
And what do you know? When you think of Louis Vuitton, what do you think of? What does it bring to mind? Like what type of brand is it?
Expensive stuff. Sunglasses,
Yeah.
bags.
Uh-huh.
But all of them just expensive.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. So when you read this title here, a brand for secretaries. Now in the United States, unless you're like an executive secretary or something like that, you probably can't afford to have a Louis Vuitton purse. They're pretty expensive. So we're going to read what's happening in China. Why is it that everybody is having so much money, and how can they afford this, and what's happening? Okay, so there's some pictures here. So you can see there's a picture of somebody carrying Louis Vuitton, and also some other pictures. So if you're not familiar with the brand, this is what some of it looks like here. Some of these bags and stuff. So okay, let's get going. Since we do have a larger class, it's not a very long article, so everybody's going to get probably just a little bit to read, but we'll go over the vocabulary and the expressions, and then we'll probably have time for a discussion about this in comments that people have. And hi, Elena number 2 from Spain. Hi, Elena. Welcome. So we have 2 Elenas in the class. All right, Louis Vuitton is now a brand for secretaries in China. China's elite have become too savvy for Louis Vuitton, which has exploded in popularity in the middle class. I don't see anybody carrying a Gucci or Louis Vuitton bag. Sarah Jane Ho, the founder of the elite Chinese etiquette school Institute Sarita, told Business Insider. Okay, they've gone beyond. Mustafa, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Chinese elite have become too savvy for Louis Vuitton, which has exploded in popularity in the middle class. I don't see anybody carrying a Gucci or Louis Vuitton bag. Sarah Jane, who the founder of the elite Chinese etiquette school Institute Sarita, told Business Insider.
Okay, Mustafa, what do you understand when you read China's elite? Who are they talking about?
Teacher, your sound was like cutting. Can you repeat?
Oh, okay. When you read the words China's elite, what does that mean? Do you know?
I don't know.
Does anybody know? China's elite. Who are they talking about?
Rich people?
Yes, exactly. So when you use the word elite, in this case they're talking about wealthy people. So it can also be like if you have elite athletes, for example, you would be talking about the best athletes, like the most professional, highly paid athletes. If you're talking about the elite scholars or something, professors, those would be like professors who work at elite schools. An elite school in the United States might be something like Stanford or Harvard. So whenever you use the word elite, it's like a special group of people like at the top, we say. So in this case, we're definitely talking about China's elite who have money. So the wealthiest Chinese people, or China's wealthiest people, or the rich. So yes. And they have become too savvy for Louis Vuitton. Who understands what that means? If you're too savvy for something, what is it? What are they saying about you? Does anybody know?
I know just computer savvy.
Okay, so what does it mean if you're computer savvy?
It means that you are very familiar with that and You can use it fluently.
Yeah, that's right. So the China's elite, the rich people, have become too savvy. So when you're savvy about something, it means you know a lot about something. So like you said, if you know a lot about computers, we would call you computer savvy. If you know a lot about fashion, you would be fashion savvy, or anything. So they're too savvy though for Louis Vuitton. It means they know too much now. Louis Vuitton is no longer interesting to them. They're too, in this case, I would say more like they're too sophisticated for Louis Vuitton. And we're going to understand this as she explains it more. All right, so Louis Vuitton, which has exploded in popularity. So exploded in popularity. Does somebody want to explain what that means?
Became popular.
To explode, this case is not literal. It just means like all of a sudden, all of these
To
people
become more popular in a short time.
Yes, exactly. In a short time, when something, or if something like explodes on the internet, it just means it became viral, or a lot of people are talking about it now. So when something explodes in popularity, you're trying to say that all of a sudden everybody wants this thing, or they want to experience this, or they're talking about it. So it's interesting because here it is in the middle class. So we're not talking about the elite anymore. It's exploded in popularity in the middle class. So Louis Vuitton, which is a name brand that's very expensive, is now being popular in the middle class. So that's interesting. Here, Mustafa, this pronunciation is etiquette. Etiquette. Etiquette school. Does anybody know what etiquette school is? What do you learn at etiquette school? Anybody?
Quality school.
Okay. Kind of. Not really. Anybody have a guess?
We learn about the style that the people or the rich people used to communicate or used to relate with other people.
Right. So
And to become more polite and
yes.
have some manner.
Have manners. Yes, exactly. So, if you're raised in a very wealthy family, of course, wealthy people have their social, we could say, etiquette, which means how you present yourself. So, how you behave at social gatherings, how you eat at a dinner, like a fancy dinner, the type of clothing that you would wear, how you walk, how you talk to people. That's called etiquette. And they learn, if you're an elite, you might send your children to etiquette school at some point, and that's where they would learn how to behave in this setting. So it's special. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. All right. So let's continue on. My clients are sophisticated. My students are the people who were buying an Hermes bag 10 years ago and holding themselves to higher standards. As HSBC Managing Director Ewan Ramberg explains in The Bling Dynasty, why the reign of Chinese luxury shoppers has only just begun. Louis Vuitton has been a big deal in China since around 2003, when sales peaked in Japan. Okay, Miriam.
Okay. My clients are sophisticated. My students are the people who were buying an Hermes bag 10 years ago and holding themselves to higher standards. As HSBC Managing Director Ewan Ramberg explains in The Bling Dynasty, why the reign of Chinese luxury shoppers has only just begun. Louis Vuitton has been a big deal in China since around 2003, when sales peaked in Japan.
So, Miriam, how would you explain sophisticated? Do you know that word? He says my clients are sophisticated. What is he trying to say about them? Or she?
They have a very refined manners and choose
Yes.
to use very expensive stuff.
Exactly. Yes. So he's, using that language of the elite. There's something special. They don't want junk. They're very sophisticated. They like what's good. They're, good word there, refined. That's very good word to use in this context. Okay, so they're the people who buy these bags, which are also very expensive and popular, holding themselves to higher standards. Do you know what that means, Miriam?
That probably buying an Hermes bag now could be considered unsophisticated.
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to know exactly. He's saying, yes, they want to hold themselves to higher standards. So, yes, that was like old news. They've been doing this already for 10 years. Like Louis Vuitton is kind of old news, is what they're saying. So to use this phrase correctly, to hold yourself, or to have somebody hold themselves to higher standards, means you expect more of yourself. So you don't buy cheap things, you don't buy low quality things. You have certain high standards that you have to meet. That's what it means to hold yourself to higher standards. You don't go out to you don't go to McDonald's, for example. You go to a fancy restaurant or something like that. So this guy, he wrote a book. Let's see, the bling. Does anybody know the word the bling? What does it refer to? The bling. And he says the bling dynasty. So it's kind of a play on words there, where the Chinese have various dynasties in the past, but this is called the bling dynasty. Does anybody know what the word bling refers to? No? Okay. Bling refers to fancy stuff. I think the last president of France, he was kind of known to be the bling bling president, Sarkozy, because he liked fancy stuff, maybe fancy clothing, jewelry, maybe sunglasses, things like that. So whenever you're dressing up in expensive jewelry, clothing, sunglasses, stuff like that, that's called bling. Example would also be like African American rappers who wear a lot of jewelry and certain types of expensive clothes, and they drive, like in their music videos, they drive in limos and things. That's called the bling. So referring to that style. So in China, they're bling. You heard it, Elena? Bling bling, yeah. So the Bling Dynasty now is a play on Chinese dynasties. Why the reign of Chinese luxury shoppers has only just begun. So I guess it's going to even get more. They're going to buy more. So a big deal. Louis Vuitton has been a big deal. So if you're describing a brand as a big deal, it means popular. It's been something that people have wanted, and it's been in China since around 2003, so already 12 years, when sales peaked in Japan. How would you explain that, Miriam? Do you understand that? Sales peaked in Japan.
I don't get it. The author says that sales peaked. They had a very rising sales in a very short time, I think. But I don't know what compared to the situation in China means.
Okay, so what it means here is that Louis Vuitton was a big deal, or has been a big deal, since 2003 when the sales peaked. So in Japan, it was a big deal before, but in 2003, they're saying in Japan, that's kind of when it got to its peak. So if you think of a peak like the top of a mountain, so you can imagine the sales rising, 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 and then they get all the way to the top, and then usually they go down. So after you've hit a peak, that's like the most popular time for a product, and then it goes down after there. So kind of like Japan was first is kind of the idea. It became really popular in Japan, and then that's when it started to become popular in China. Okay, so that's a marketing term, when your sales peak. While Japan's elite were less concerned about the brand hitting the mainstream, however, China's elite have a different attitude toward luxury. Japanese people used to purchase luxury products to fit in, whereas Chinese are buying the goods to stand out, Romberg writes, paraphrasing Swarovski executive Francis Bellin. Okay. Hamid?
While Japan's elite were less concerned about the brand hitting the mainstream, however, Chinese elite have a different attitude toward luxury. Japanese people used to purchase luxury products to fit in, whereas Chinese are buying the goods to stand out. Rambo writes, paraphrasing Swarovski executive Francis Bellin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Japan's elite, so now we're comparing. So the Japan's elite were less concerned about, what does it mean to be concerned about something, Hamid? Do you know how to explain that?
To worry about something?
Yeah, to worry about it, to think about it. So they were less concerned about the brand hitting the mainstream. So what does that mean, the brand hitting the mainstream?
Uh,
You have any idea?
To brands hitting mainstream, to put something very important.
Okay, let's break it down. So the brand, do you know what they're talking about when
Yes,
in the
company.
sentence? Yes, the brand, the Louis Vuitton. Okay, so the Louis Vuitton is the brand we're talking about. And when a brand hits the mainstream, do you know what that means? To hit, that's the expression, to hit the mainstream. So remember, in the beginning, it was just for the elite. So only the wealthiest people could really afford a Louis Vuitton handbag, for example. But then...
So to increase popularity or increase the sellings for that company,
exactly.
for that brand.
Yeah. So the mainstream would be like the main larger group of population. So when you have the elite, that's a small group usually. You know, the top 1% we say, or something like that. It could be more, but the mainstream would be the average person, the more average person, not a poor person or something, but just the mainstream people who have jobs. Now they are buying the Louis Vuitton. So they were less concerned about this happening than the Chinese elite, because the Chinese elite, they have a different attitude toward luxury. So they think differently about luxury items. Luxury items are expensive items that only wealthy people can afford. So in this sentence here, what this person's saying in quotes, we understand the difference. So they're saying that the Japanese people, they used to buy these products to fit in. What does it mean to fit in? Hilo, do you know what it means to fit in? Hilo, your microphone is muted. Okay, maybe he's not there. Elena, what about you? Do you know how to explain to fit in? The Japanese people, they wanted to fit in. What does it mean?
To feel comfortable in a group, to feel that you are like anyone else.
Exactly.
In the group.
Exactly. So if you consider yourself part of a special group, like the elite or something, then you want to buy certain things to fit in. This happens for everybody too, like, you know, groups of people, kids, especially teenagers, they're buying specific products so that they feel a part of the group. That's a good explanation. But the Chinese people, apparently, they're doing it for a different reason, to stand out. So what would that be, Elena? Instead of fitting in, what does it mean to stand out?
Yeah, the opposite, to feel different from anyone else.
Yeah.
Different and up, more sophisticated in this case than anyone else.
Right. Yes. So if you want to stand out, then you want to be noticed by other people. You want people to look at you when you're walking down the street going, whoa, look at her. She's got this or that, or she's wearing this or that, or, you know, so for guys, sometimes it's like the kind of car that they drive or something. So some people want to fit in. They want to be a part of the group, and other people want to stand out to make sure people know that they're wealthy or that they're, you know, certain, they're living a certain lifestyle or something. Okay, so he's paraphrasing. To paraphrase just means to say what that person said, but in a little bit different words, using your own words. You paraphrase what people say. Okay, so now China's very high-end consumers are abandoning the label for even more expensive brands or bespoke goods. A typical Chinese luxury shopper, he claims, might think, I can't buy Vuitton. I've seen it too much. It's a brand for secretaries. Louis Vuitton has become too ordinary, a billionaire woman told China Market Research Group Managing Director Sean Rain in 2011. Everyone has it. You see it in every restaurant in Beijing. Okay. Ilo, are you there? Okay, maybe he had to step away. Elena, why don't you go ahead and read that?
Now, China's very high-end consumers are abandoning the label for even more expensive brands or bespoke goods. A typical Chinese luxury shopper, he claims, might think, I can't buy Vuitton. I've seen it too much. It's a brand for secretaries. Louis Vuitton has become too ordinary, a billionaire woman told China Market Research Group Managing Director Shawn Rain in 2011. Everyone has it. You see it in every restaurant in Beijing.
So now China's very high-end consumers. So how would you explain the high-end consumer, Elena?
I don't know hidden, but by the context, I guess it's the top of the higher top of the consumers. I don't know.
These are the people. So high end, we could break it down a little bit. So this is an adjective describing what type of consumer. So a consumer is somebody who buys something, a customer. And if you are a high-end consumer, you only purchase expensive things. So the high end of something, we have like a continuum. We would say the low end, if you're talking about low-end goods, then those would be the cheaper things, the cheapest things that you could go buy. These are called maybe, we have knockoff brands. So these are like copies, you know, generic copies. These would be sold very cheaply. They're supposed to look like the high-end brand, but they're not. So every type of product has low-end, mid-range, we say mid-range, or high-end products. So whether it's electronics, you know, you could buy a TV pretty cheap, or you could buy a medium-sized one or medium-range priced one, or a very high-end, super expensive type of thing. So the billionaires, the millionaires, and the billionaires, they're usually the high-end consumers. They're looking for the things that are very expensive, very fashionable in their crowd of people, that kind of thing. So that's what it means, the high-end consumers. They are abandoning the label. So the label is another word for brand. So we're talking about them abandoning Louis Vuitton. So it means they're leaving the brand. They're no longer purchasing that particular brand. So when customers abandon a brand, that means they say, forget it, we're not buying that anymore. Now they have something else they want to buy. And so what they're going for instead, so they're abandoning the label for, which means they're going for, or they're purchasing even more expensive brands. So even higher cost wallets and handbags and things like that, or bespoke goods. So this is used as an adjective of describing the type of goods. And to bespeak means to order something in advance. So a lot of high-end consumers, they want to order a specially made, handmade item or something like that. So they don't even want a brand anymore. They maybe want a specific artist, some kind of leather, person who makes things with leather. They want specialized goods, and they order them to be made especially for them. All right, and this is the funny thing that gave the title. It's a brand for secretaries, so that's kind of like a put down saying, you know, everybody buys that. It's not special anymore. It's too ordinary. Ordinary means not special, so it's just plain, simple. And of course, this is coming from a billionaire woman, so she's trying to stand out, wanting to own something different and unique. Not, you don't want to own something that everybody has. So she says everyone has it. You see it in every restaurant in Beijing. So she wants to stand out, not fit in. Okay. I prefer Chanel or Bottega Veneta now. They are more exclusive. It hasn't helped that there are so many counterfeit Louis Vuitton handbags in China and around the world. Louis Vuitton sells plenty of goods in China, but now the core consumers include young office workers with spending money who save up to buy the status symbol. Okay, Elena from Moscow.
Yes. I prefer Chanel or Bottega Veneta now. They are more exclusive. It hasn't helped that there are so many counterfeit Louis Vuitton handbags in China and around the world. Louis Vuitton sells plenty of goods in China, but now the core consumers include young office workers with spending money who save up to buy the status symbol.
Okay, so these are some other brands. And so this person, it's the second part of the quote here, she prefers these brands that are more exclusive. So what does it mean to be more exclusive, Elena? How would you explain
More individual.
that? Yeah. Individual is one way to say it. Is there another way you can think of?
More unique.
Yeah. Unique, that's describing it, and it's especially, it means only available to like an exclusive group. So unless you have this much money, there's no way you're ever going to get these products. So they're for an exclusive group. Only some people to be able to afford these. That's the idea of being exclusive. You could also have like an exclusive club. If you have a golf club for let's say, and you have a golf club where it costs $1 million to join, that's going to be very exclusive. It means it excludes other people. So when you exclude somebody, that means you don't let them in. So it's kind of like an exclusive club or something. So if you can afford these brands, you belong to this exclusive club because all the other consumers who can't afford that brand are excluded. They're not allowed into the group is the kind of the idea there. Okay, what about the word counterfeit? Do you guys know what that means? Somebody? Elena?
Uncountable.
Yeah, kind of. All right, so the sentence is, it hasn't helped that there are so many counterfeits. So a counterfeit is like a fake.
Popular.
What a counterfeit is a fake, actually.
Oh, fake. Okay.
So a fake brand. So it's a copy. So people, they do this all the time. There's a popular brand, and then they make a counterfeit. Or that's what I was mentioning about a knockoff brand. So they use the same kind of style maybe, but of course it's not as nice in terms of the materials, but it might have the same look. So it looks maybe a lot like a real Louis Vuitton, but maybe it costs, $100 or something only. So a lot of counterfeits are showing up around the world, so it makes the brand less exclusive because it looks like everybody has one, even though they're not true Louis Vuitton. So if you go on eBay, for example, you have to be careful. If you're going to buy something like a Louis Vuitton handbag, you want to make sure you have the original like receipt or something like that to prove that it's not a counterfeit, because you don't want to pay a lot of money for a fake. All right, so they still sell plenty of goods. Plenty means a lot, so they're still, they're not hurting or anything, but the core consumers are now these young office workers. What do you understand by core consumers, Elena?
The target group. The target group?
The what group? The target. Yeah, target group. Yeah, target group, or like the main consumers. If you have a core group of people, they're the main people who buy your goods. So yeah, they're the strongest ones. So now they have a lot of young office workers, and these people are buying this brand because of a status symbol. They want to buy the status symbol. What does that mean? To have a status symbol?
It wants to show that they could have it, even it's expensive, but they want to be like elite.
Yes. Exactly.
But they are not.
Not anymore. The elite have their tricks. They're gonna buy something even more expensive. Yes. So whenever you buy something that you think will give people the impression that, you know, I have money, or, you know, I have a great job, or something, some kind of status, you know, whatever the status is that you're looking for. Usually it's in terms of finances, your financial status. People buy that to symbolize, you know, so when people look at them, they say, oh, they must, you know, make a lot of money or something. So that's what people do. All right, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, given that China's middle class may be the biggest growth market there is. The challenge will be holding onto those core consumers while also trying to win back the richest customers. To succeed, Louis Vuitton may need to move away from its monogrammed, label-heavy image and become a more nuanced luxury company. Okay, Diana.
Okay. It is necessary a bad thing, given a China middle class may be the biggest growth market there is. The challenge will be holding on to those core consumers while also trying to win back the richest customers. To succeed, Louis Vuitton may need to move away from its monogram heavy image and become a more nuanced luxury company.
Yeah, nuanced luxury. Okay, so this person, the lady who wrote the article, she says it isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so the reason why it's not a bad thing is because China's middle class may be the biggest growth market. So when we're talking about business, Diana, what do you understand it means, a growth market? Describing the type of market that it is, growth.
It is when you know that there is a potential market that is growing so far, more than the others market. In this case, the middle class market.
Exactly. Yes. So in China, the middle class, now they have some more money. They are going to be buying more and more things. So that's a growth market. There's a big possibility for growth with this particular group of people who are making more money now. So the challenge, and when they're talking about the challenge, it means to Louis Vuitton, the brand, is going to be holding on to the core consumers or customers. So they, of course, a brand wants to have as many people buying their brand as possible. So you want to hold on to those customers, not let them go to another brand, but also win back the richest customers. So they want to have people come back or win them back over, even you could say, to their side, to their brand. So they're trying to maneuver two things, having middle class people buy their goods, but also winning back the richest. But this person says in order to do that, to succeed, they're going to have to move away from, so if you're paying attention to some phrasal verbs here, to move away from, so it means you have to, your brand is going to have to change. So you have a certain style, maybe you're going to have to change a little bit your style. So in this case, they're talking about this monogram. So as you see here, it has the letters, the L and the V. That's a monogram, and it's very brand. You can really recognize the brand. You know, it's all over the product there, and so everybody knows, oh, this is Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton, and so that's why now it seems like everybody has one. So the idea is, if you're going to move away from being monogrammed with the letters and label heavy, label means you see the label, the brand everywhere on the bag, you want to move to a more nuanced. Nuanced means you want it to be very luxurious looking, but nobody has to know it's a Louis Vuitton just because it says it on there. It has to be very subtle is the idea, and we're going to have that word here. So something is nuanced, it means it's subtle. It's not like in your face, okay? That's the idea. Wealthy Chinese want to make a statement about their social status and what they wear, but they're getting a little more subtle. Hanzi Men, an investment immigration lawyer at Straight and Sue law firm, told Business Insider. They want you to know it's Louis Vuitton, but they don't like the big characters on their shirt. They still want you to know that it's Louis Vuitton without really knowing. Okay, Amparo.
Wealthy Chinese want to make a statement about their social status and what they wear, but they are getting a little more subtle. Hansi Mend, an investment immigration lawyer and Straight and Sue law firm, told Business Insider. They want you to know it's Louis Vuitton, but they don't like the big characters on their shirt. They still want you to know that it's Louis Vuitton without really knowing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's basically the idea. All right, so to make a statement about their social status, how would you describe that in other words, Amparo? What does it mean to make a statement about your status, your social status?
They want to, that everyone knows about their social position, their condition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, when you want to make a statement, it's like you want everybody to look at you and understand something, right? So you want them to know. So definitely there are certain brands that if you wear them, people recognize them, and then they know or they assume, well, that person must be very wealthy or something like that. So they pay attention to what they wear. That's the idea there. Pay attention to between themselves. So when you're going out to a restaurant or something, like I said, you're not going to McDonald's probably. You're going to a gourmet restaurant maybe. It's very expensive, and people look at each other, and so they're looking at what they're wearing, and they make a statement about that. So they're getting a little more subtle. So that's the idea of the nuance. So you don't have to have a big character. Like big characters are like the letters that spell out, I'm wearing a Louis Vuitton shirt. That's kind of too out there. Now they want it to be subtle so that somebody recognizes you, like, oh, that person is wearing a Louis Vuitton, but without really knowing that it is. You have to be more, like we say, in the know to know. You would have to be familiar with it. So they want it to be subtle, not just like, and that's an interesting thing because over the years, since I was young, nowadays it has become very popular for brands to put their logos everywhere, and so sometimes you can't buy just a plain sweatshirt or something, a t-shirt. You have to have a sweatshirt or a t-shirt that has, the Gap written all over it, or Nike or Adidas or something like that. So the elite, they don't want the brand's names over them. They want you to know what they are, but not like spelled out so dramatically. Okay, well, what do you guys think about this? Is this happening in the elite of your country as well? Mustafa, what's going on in Iraq? Do people? I mean, Iraq's been in a bad situation for a while, so I don't know what the elite of Iraq are doing. You have any idea?
Maybe, as you said, like we passing like a difficult situation here.
Yes. Yeah.
But maybe it's almost like we try to do the same of them. Yeah. It's not that too much difference from this idea.
Yeah. Well, even when a country is going through hard times economically or even with war, there's always the elite, so they're always having their kind of separate lives. And especially, I imagine, in Iraq, where there's still a lot of money because of the oil, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
investment. Yeah, a lot of investment.
Right. So is there a place though in like I have some students like in Qatar, for example, and you know that's also a very wealthy area because of the oil, and they have shopping malls where they have these stores that sell these brands. Is there something like that in Iraq as well? Any kind of big shopping mall that sells high-end products?
Yeah, there is places in specific area of my country. They
Mm-hmm.
buy this specific issues, and nowadays they trying to building more of these places to
Mm-hmm.
have. Yeah, they trying to build a new thing, and the private sector now is more active than before. So I think it would be like a lot of them in the future, and it would be like increasing in this area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And Miriam, where about in you're in Bogota?
No, I imagine.
Medellin. Okay. How is
Uh,
it there?
well, no, not really. They don't sell high-end products like in Brazil
Mm,
or any other places.
yeah. Have you seen some of maybe the counterfeit ones, like uh, the fake brands?
Yes, of course, and many.
Yeah, yeah, those are very popular. Yeah. So what about is there an elite group? Where do they live, or where do they go to spend their money? Maybe to Miami or something, or
Well, yes, not they are not as sophisticated as people living in Bogota, but yes, they usually go to the USA or other countries and buy their stuff there.
uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. And Hamid, what about did you want to make a comment, Miriam? Did you have anything else to say?
Yes, usually in for Colombia, I don't know if it is the same for other countries. Luxury products are not bought here because then these trademarks know that things here because they are very luxurious. They think they can be sold. They can sell these things
Mm-hmm.
very expensive, much more than in more developed countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, Hamid, what about in Turkey? What's the situation with the Turkish elite? Where did the Turkish elite live? Mostly Istanbul?
Generally, seaside cities.
Oh, like Izmir?
Yes, Izmir, Istanbul. Some people can be in Ankara as well because capital city.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
In Turkey, the situation looks like mixed for
Mm.
counterfeit and elite companies. And when
Uh-huh.
I Google
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton, there are 3 or 4 shops in Istanbul.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I imagine also because you have tourists, a lot of tourists in Istanbul as well.
Yes,
So they maybe shop there also.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with a joke, we can say for Istanbul, it is not city, it is a country.
Yeah.
Because the
There.
population is 20, around 15 million. So
Uh-huh.
its population is higher than maybe 15 European countries population. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there are some very famous activities like you're showing.
Yeah.
There are some fashion weeks like New York, like Paris. So
Yes.
with some activities, Istanbul's fame is increasing year by year or
Mm.
month by month.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just showing you guys the Louis Vuitton US website. Um, so here's some of the bags. You know, you can still see that this is what they mean by the image label heavy. It has this LV and this particular style here.
I think generally maybe Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian likes this kind of shop.
Yes, and as you can see, it's pretty expensive. It's $2,110. Now, it could be possible that a secretary, if they saved up a lot of money and didn't buy some things, they could buy that.
But it can be their only 1 month salary.
Yes, it could be 1 month's worth of salary for some secretaries.
For example, if I say for myself, if I had a credit card, its credit should have been around, let's say $100,000 for a month.
Yeah. So definitely, you could usually get a handbag, like at a nice handbag, even leather, maybe for $100. So this is quite a bit more expensive than a regular leather handbag. But it's a symbol, a status symbol, and some people who are into fashion really want to have the best.
Yes,
so
and they are proud of themselves. For example, they say, for the environment, I bought a bag from this, and they say with a proud, and they can be arrogant as well.
Some people, some people are. Elena, what do you think about this? What about in Spain? Is the Louis Vuitton brand very popular?
I don't know. I don't know. When I see those bags, I recognize the picture, but I know that a few months ago there was a scandal here in Spain because a politician received some bags of that brand, but I'm so far of the people that use that kind of bags that I don't know. And I'm not interested. I have the slight interest. I think the article is quite interesting, but I don't know. I can't understand it.
Yeah, for you
because
personally, it's not.
if I were very rich, I think I would like to have a bag, a very beautiful bag, but not one that anyone could think it's an expensive bag. Just one that people may think, oh, what a beautiful bag, or shoes or whatever. But no, not a brand like this. It's not my style, and I think I feel very uncomfortable with one of those. Not a question of money. It's a question of values, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's always different too, because depending on, like, if you make even if you make, let's say, $5,000 a month, a $3,000 bag would be really expensive as a percentage of your income. But if you make $15,000 a month, or you already have $1 billion or something, it's not anything really. So it's just interesting, the percentage of your income or your wealth or something comes into play. So there's always luxury items. These are always considered luxury items because only some people can afford them, and they don't make a lot of them. They make a small amount, and so it's very unique that way. So yeah, Elena, what about in Moscow? Moscow, I imagine, has some stores that have some luxury goods.
That's very popular in Moscow, and Russians, they don't like to use any fakes. They prefer to buy the original thing. And I work for one company, and we offer some bespoke services, interior design and different architectural solutions for our clients. And our clients are very sophisticated. And,
yes.
and for us, it could be, for example, one expensive bag. It could be a sign of the status of a client. And I believe for these people, that's very important to have something very exclusive. And that's for sure. Even my colleague designers, they can't go out with simple bag. They want to have something that's really expensive. And I believe that it depends on the sphere where you are, and if you are in this sphere, you should be like all these people. But for me, it doesn't have any sense. Maybe I'm more simple than they. And if I like the color, if I like the materials, brand doesn't mean something for me. But I have a lot of friends, and they really, for them, that's really important. But Louis Vuitton, for example, for our clients, who could be really elite in Moscow, they don't use Louis Vuitton. I believe that this is the same situation like in Chinese. For example, our designers, they prefer to buy it. But for the real rich people,
they're buying something else.
Yeah, so that's really true. It's like that.
Like Giorgio Armani. Okay, yes. Well, there's lots of exclusive brands. Some probably we've never even heard of because they're so exclusive. You can only know about them if you have money like that. Diana, what do you think about this idea of these people? Would you buy a Louis Vuitton bag for $2,000?
No, I haven't. I haven't yet.
Maybe, would you in the future? Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my style. But I think in Colombia, the brand is very famous, mainly in the rich people. But here in Colombia, that circle of people is very, very close. As I remember, we have just one store in Bogota. It's in a very famous area. But also you can find many copies. But it's still exclusive a brand in Colombia.
Yeah. Okay, and let's finish up with Amparo. What about in Ecuador? What do the rich people like there?
Oh, they go to buy directly in Italy or in the US when they want to buy, or just here there are some brands, but not everything. But yeah, generally they travel a weekend just to go to buy the things.
Yeah, that's what I heard about. I have a lot of Brazilian students too. Some of them, they go to Miami regularly for shopping. Yes,
For shopping,
a lot. It's actually cheaper for them to go to Miami.
Yes, there are some people, rich people here that have houses in Miami. So.
Yeah, Miami. Has a lot of people from South America nowadays. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, it's an interesting topic. I don't know if any of us belong to this group of exclusive elite people, but it's interesting that what's happening in China. Definitely, the economy is changing.
I think we are in a club on the Verbling.
We're exclusive Verbling club. Yes. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming to class, and I'll see you later. Take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.